GPS. GoodLife GPS is about you finding the best path to your best life as the best you. How you can fully experience, express your highest and best, your highest calling, your greatest possibilities for family, friends, finance, impact. And what we do is we simply bring together the world's best. I bring together the top minds, the top hearts. People have unique abilities, unique expertise, and there's no difference here. Today, you get to speak with my new friend Shiraz, Baboo, and he is an absolute world changer. He just got back from England, and he immediately jumps on this for me, and it's a big favor. We spoke maybe a couple weeks ago, and I just said, "How soon can we do this?" And so he says, "As soon as I'm back." As soon as I'm back. So this is a fine gentleman. So Shiraz, would you be kind of introduce yourself a bit to these nice folks? I know you're an award winner, you're a world changer and a world traveler. As I said, you just got back from another tour. We're talking about award-winning author, speaker, and reality interventionist. And that's where I think we're going to have some fun. But please say hi to our audience and let them know a bit more about you.
Well, hi, I'm Shiraz, and yes, I'm a reality interventionist, which means I get you out of the addiction of your current reality. So most people live in a reality of lack or struggle or having to work hard
Mm.
all the time. And I get you addicted to ease and wealth and possibility, even better health and better relationships. And what I do, though, is not as important as why I do it. Like, I believe that everyone just wants to be heard, seen, and loved. But we are taught that to get by in this world, you have to be liked. So you have to be what you think other people will like. You have to make sure you fit in. You have to not rock
Mm.
the boat. And when you start following that advice, you stop being you. You lose touch with your true value, your authentic self.
Yes.
And I believe that once you regain that connection and feel your true value, your impact amplifies, your success starts to skyrocket, and you become happier than you've ever been in your life. And that's what I want for people.
Mm. Well, I think we're on to gold. I feel like without knowing what you teach and how you help people, we can have generational trauma just continue to repeat itself. We
Mhm.
could have a childhood moment of trauma turn into a life of reactivity
Yes.
rather than an opportunity for growth, for development, and for freedom to choose and now, right? It is what it is and now. You know, in the wisdom literature in the Bible, there's this phrase in the Old Testament. It said, the let's say the Israelites were sinning, but God. You know, they were in trouble, but God. An enemy attacked, but God. And there was a that was a reality, but it didn't stay the reality. With
Mhm.
divine intervention, there is a completely transformed experience. And so when I speak about that to non-theists and people who are not into the Bible or whatever, I simply say it is what it is and now, right? It is what it is, not exaggerating, not diminishing. It is what it is and now, a new beginning, a new turning point. And I have to imagine that most people you meet, maybe everyone you meet, has at least some of this going on. Is that your experience?
Absolutely. Everyone has it going on. Right. So it's just in different areas of their lives. More successful people uh, have more of a sense of what's possible without but this and um, there's a lot of people I see that I will be happy when that's where they live, right?
Yes.
So they're not in the now, they're in the
Right.
when. And it's the one thing I've realized is happiness attracts everything you want. And when you're
Amen.
making a conscious decision not to be happy until you get the thing that you want, and the happiness is a requirement for that, you just screwed yourself, right?
Love it. So I want you, the viewer, to really pick up on what Shiraz is saying here. And I'm going to put it in different words, if you don't mind. And you
Mhm.
can correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, that's why I'm listening to you. And I'm looking forward to you helping me. I'm here as a student, and say, Shiraz, use me as a case study and help me identify some ways that that's shown up. And I want the audience to watch a transformation, to watch as Shiraz is able to help me. So in my own attempt at speaking about what you talked about, you've got past tense, right? Past tension. I'm affected by the past. I have beliefs based on the past. I have assumptions based on the past. I have an identity based on the past. So there's past tension, and then there's future tension. And this is the I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if. That people have a vision for the future and they say, I am currently in a state of discontent. I'm currently in a state of not enough, not being enough, not having enough, not being loved enough, whatever. My current state is unacceptable, and I have possibly pain from the past, and I have pain towards the future because I'm looking at what I don't have, what I can't do, what I don't know, and who's not with me. And so people are currently experiencing tension as far as past tense, future tense, and even present tense. And it's only in present peace that one finds the joy, the happiness that unlocks virtually everything. Am I right about that? That it's tension from the past or the future or even the present rather than present peace to unlock and unleash our highest and best. Is that anywhere close to what you were saying?
Yes. So when you're in the present, for the most part, there's nothing wrong. Right?
Yes.
Exceptions are when people are in physical pain.
Yeah.
Then the present doesn't feel that great. But
Mm.
otherwise, there's absolutely nothing wrong. And people say, well, there are things wrong because I've got this bill due. I haven't paid this yet. I'm
Yes.
like, well, that has nothing to do with the present. In this present moment, you don't have to pay that bill this second. In this
Yes.
second, nothing is wrong. And if people add up all the exact moments, those exact seconds where nothing is wrong, versus that moment where you have to pay the bill,
Yes.
it's vastly outweighs it. Except what most people do is they don't stay in the present. They're still in the future of I've got to pay that bill, and the
Yes.
worry about the bill and the anxiety about the bill, and they're pulling all that into the present. So an example I use, like if you've got bills due at the end of the month, you don't know if you're gonna be able to pay them. You can spend the entire month worrying, and
Yes.
then at the end of the month, say you pay the bills. Then you've wasted the entire month worrying,
Yes.
right? But if you don't pay the bills, then you feel justified for worrying the entire month, even though the moment of paying the bills was the only moment that could feel uncomfortable, that had to feel
Yes.
uncomfortable, right? So, and then on the other hand, if you spent the entire month not worrying about the bills, then when you pay the bills, you had an amazing month. And if
Yeah.
you can't pay the bills, then you just had an amazing moment at the end of like a bad moment at the end of the month. But you've
Yes.
had an amazing month up to that. And the crazy thing is, it's a choice of emotion through the month because we have this false belief that if I worry about it, that means I care more, and that means I'll
Yes.
do something to fix it.
Yes.
But you can strategize without worry. You're
Yep.
actually more capable of solving a problem
Yep.
without the worry, right? But just the way we're taught is like, well, you don't seem worried about your bills. I mean, you get, oh, okay, am I supposed to be worried? So now you start to worry because you want to fit
Yes.
in with everyone else's worldview.
Yeah. I'm going to pounce on that for a moment because
Okay.
the way it shows up for me in the work that I've been doing is
Mhm.
I talk to people about fear, and it's not unrelated to what you just said. It's just a slight rephrasing of the state, perhaps. But there's dread and there's other things. But fear, I talk about fear as being an unspiritual state.
Mhm.
So perfect love casts out fear. If we're in divine connection with infinite love, fear just does not exist. And so fear is not healthy. So what I encourage people to do is to become fearless unless there's an imminent physical threat. So if you want to be afraid, if there's a gorilla with a machine gun in the room where you are, feel free to crap your pants and scream and cry because that's appropriate, right? Fine, good.
Mhm.
But if it's not something in the room that poses an imminent physical threat, fear is not helpful. It's the only appropriate place for fear. So then when I say uh, be fearless. People say, "Oh, what does that mean? I'm supposed to walk down the street naked with gold so that people will rob me?" I'm like, "No, I didn't say lose your brain. I didn't say throw away your rational mind. I didn't
Mhm.
say throw away all wisdom. I merely said fear is not your friend." But people have this association that I have to be afraid to stay safe, which is not accurate. And I have to be worried if I'm going to pay my bill. It's like, no, worry isn't paying the bill. Fear isn't keeping you safe. Dread isn't making you a master of your moment. These negative moments that we've been somehow tricked into thinking are our responsibility, that we're supposed to be afraid and dreading and stressed and maybe even inferior. We're supposed to feel these things, and we have to if we're going to somehow improve things. But it's just it's a web of lies. It's just not true. The people who perform well do so with ease and flow, with fun, and it's a different energy altogether. So did I capture anything right there?
Yeah, and it's very accurate. And on top of that is if you're in this place of fear, the one of the most powerful motivations for human beings is the need to be right,
Yes.
right? And people will choose being right over being rich, being healthy, being in wonderful
Yes.
relationships. So when you decide you need to be fearful, your reticular activating system will now go into overdrive to look for reasons to justify being
Yes.
afraid.
Yes.
Right? And so you'll see it on the news, you'll hear about it from other people. And so
Yep.
you could say, see, I'm right, I need to be fearful.
Yeah.
And so you're gathering all this evidence of why you need to be fearful, except you're the one putting the evidence in your own life without realizing it.
Yes.
Because someone else that's in a place of everything just flows and everything will work out, they don't see what you're seeing. They see the evidence of, wow, that worked out and that worked out and that worked out.
Yes.
And the people in fear say, well, they're oblivious to the real dangers that are out there. I'm like, but their lives are better. They're,
Hmm.
the fear, the danger isn't actually hitting them. And also in that place of fear, to be right, sometimes you attract that danger into your life. You have to have some sort of incident show up to say, see, it actually happened to me. It's real.
Yes.
Whereas you could have you could have avoided it. And I know consciously people go, but no, that just happened. It's like you took unconscious actions to make sure you put yourself in that
Yes.
situation so you could be right and be justified
Yeah.
because that you get a fix of dopamine every
Yes.
time you're right. And people, and this is where I get into reality addiction, these dopamine fixes create a reality addiction to everything you're right about.
Yes. Yes.
And you can be right about great things. Like I'll be in a room of, a couple hundred people in the room, and I'll say, who here finds the best parking spots? And you'll see all these hands going, oh my God,
Yes.
all the time. I
Yes.
always, that's an addiction. They're addicted to
Yes.
finding the best parking spots. Their reticular activating
Yes. Yes.
system
Yes. Yes.
makes sure they find them and they get to be right. But they're also just as right about I don't pay my bills on time, or I can't get the
Yes.
gigs I want, or there's whatever it is. People don't pay enough attention to me because you're looking for it and dropping the evidence. You're being right. You get your dopamine fix, and you continue on
Yes.
your addiction.
I can tell you, my family has we've historically been wired with some of this language that isn't our friend, and I hear it all the time. Well, with my luck, that phrase comes up, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, someone will say, "Oh, did you buy your lottery tickets?" Or something like that, and someone will say, "Well, with my luck, the one time I don't buy my ticket, my numbers will come up."
Mhm.
And then you say, so you're going to buy a ticket, and they'll say, yeah, but with my luck, I'll never win. So it's like it's a cover
Yeah.
all. It's always available. Like with my luck, there's an expectation, and people do want to prove themselves right. I'll tell you a story. Is that okay? And then I
Mhm.
really want you to unleash on me and continue. By the way, thank you. I'm loving this. Um, story. I saw this little boy. This little slugger with his probably, I don't know, 5 years old, and his shorts are too big, and he's got his little Louisville Slugger hat on. He's got one of those giant baseball bats. Those plastic baseball bats that
Mhm.
you couldn't miss anything with them. They're so big. They're hollow,
Yeah.
but they're big. And the father is just laying up the ball for the little boy to hit it, and the boy puts his hands on the bat backwards, what we would call backwards.
Yeah.
And the father says, "No, Billy," or whatever his name is. He says, "You put your hands this way." And little Billy had had enough of dad. He says, "No, I do it this way." Right? He's like, I'm right." The little boy is, and the father says, "Trust me, son. Just do it the way He says, "No, Daddy, no." So finally, the father pushes, and he says, "Just trust me and try it once." Okay. So the boy puts the hands the way it's supposed to be. The father lobs the ball, and the boy drops the bat on the ground and goes, "See?" And I just thought,
Yeah.
trying to get someone to prove themselves wrong is entirely irrational. When
Mhm.
someone says, "I can't," they're going to win that. When they
Yes.
say, "I can," they'll likely win that. When they say, "I always forget names," guess what they're going to do?
Mhm.
I no, people are so committed to the limiting beliefs that they have. It's absolutely astonishing. So I wanted to share that story. And then another thing, that when I was listening to someone, they led me to believe, and I wrote it out in my own words, that every habit is a drug addiction. Every
Mhm.
habit, because when I work hard, I get a certain drug release. I
Yes.
get certain release from my brain, and it makes me feel good, and I want it again, and then I need it again. It's like I want that rush again. So negative habits and positive habits, healthy habits and unhealthy habits, all produce a drug addiction over time. Is that what you've experienced? Can you speak into that? Because I wasn't the expert. I just organized my thoughts after listening to somebody else.
Yes. So that's exactly what's happening. The main thing is dopamine, but depending on the situation, it can be other
Hmm.
drugs that hit your system as well.
Hmm.
So, for instance, let's say you're struggling to get your business going. Your friends and family are sitting there going, James, hang in there. We're rooting for you, right?
Hmm.
We got your back. Just keep trying. We love you. And so your mind now picks up. It's like, wow, they love me. So when people love you, you get your dopamine. You also get
Yes.
oxytocin. That's the love chemical,
Cool.
right? So, and that's a powerful hit. So it's just like, wow, they love me. That felt good. And then your mind reasons this out. They love me because I'm struggling.
Wow.
Okay. So now
Wow.
consciously, I'm coming out of this. I'm going to create success unconsciously, but where will I get my love fix? Because they love me
Mm,
because I'm struggling,
wow.
right? So, and then people end up struggling for years and years. And
Yeah, they find that sweet spot where they get the love. If they're not trying, they're not being cheered on.
yep,
If they're successful, they're not being cheered on because now people are jealous of them, maybe.
yep,
But
that's
when
true.
they're in that stage of struggle, that's the sweet spot where they can feel good about themselves, and
Hmm.
everyone around them is like, "Go get them, Tiger."
Yes,
Wow.
yep. And consciously they're trying. This failed, and then this failed, and then this failed. But I'm still trying my hardest. I'm still struggling, and I've got all this love and these people cheering me on. I'll get it someday, but someday is not going to come as long as you're locked in that addiction to their oxytocin and the dopamine you get from working on it.
Hmm. Well, I want everyone to know that you can identify and adjust with this newfound wisdom, and you're not necessarily alone. We're going to walk through how can a person identify it for themselves. Then you'll watch with Shiraz guiding me on how I can overcome something, whether it's my bald head or I'm just too sexy. I don't know. Whatever he's going to fix, but I've got lots. So he has a wide open playground. But I also want you to know that you'll be given the opportunity to learn from Shiraz personally and directly. And so I just want to interrupt for just remind people that they're going to be able to connect with you. So you're giving people a gift, and they can get into your world. Is that right?
Yes.
I always ask my guests to do this, and you've blown me away. So talk about that if you don't mind.
So every month I do a workshop called the Coach's Money Mindset Reset. And it's 90 minutes the second Monday of each month. And I teach to start off the class, and then I start working one-on-one with participants in the class and shift their mindset in as little as 5 minutes, so that people coming out of this can start making more money, have more success, become more visible. And one time someone even reported I didn't even work with her. And this is the wonderful thing is when I'm working on one person, whatever what I'm doing to shift the mindset goes out to everyone in the group. And she had chronic pain in her left arm for 7 years. It was gone after the workshop. And we weren't even working on chronic pain, but
Yes.
the success, she was afraid of success, and she couldn't achieve it as long as her arm was hurting. When we let go of the fear of success, she no longer needed the pain in the arm and it
Oh
disappeared.
my goodness. So it's
right?
like as soon as my arm gets better, I'm really going to buckle down.
Yeah.
But the buckling down would have caused success, and success is where the fear was. So the arm couldn't get better.
Yep.
Wow.
So that it's amazing what we do to ourselves. I worked with someone that had, and this is the thing, I'm not a healer. I promote myself as I'll go heal your
Yeah,
injuries.
right, right, right.
But oftentimes this is what keeps you from having success. So, one woman I worked with, she chronic headaches, since she was 6 years old. And when I started working with her, we traced it down to her dad would complain about how lazy everyone at work was while he was working hard. And he goes, if you're resting, you're lazy. So her mind
Mm,
took that in. If you're resting, you're lazy. But if you're in pain, it doesn't count as resting. So whenever she needed a break, she would manifest chronic headaches so that she could have rest. And that stuck with her from 6 years old to adulthood. And when she let go of the story she created around what her dad was complaining about,
yes.
the headaches were gone within a week,
My goodness.
right? And now her success just started to skyrocket because that wasn't holding her back anymore.
So you're gifting everyone watching. If you're watching this live or recorded, you're going to be given a gift to attend this event, the Coaches Money Mindset Reset. Is that correct? Did I say it right?
Correct. Yeah,
And it's the second Monday. Is that right? Second
that's right.
Monday of every month.
Yes.
And so we're going to put a link in the chat, and you're going to be able to take full advantage of that. The other thing we should mention is that you're speaking at the third annual Global Speakers event, and I am as well. And this is how we had the pleasure of connecting. And
Mhm.
so Shiraz and I have both been given a gift to give away some tickets. We're putting those right into the description as well. So you can attend that event, get more from Shiraz and all these other speakers. Please do that. Register for that. And on top of that, and maybe I'll say most importantly, get into Shiraz's circle. Get yourself this free ticket to the, I'm going to say it again, the Coaches Money Mindset Reset, which is the second Monday of every month. And I'll plan on seeing you there. This is a huge gift. So let's jump back into it. I just wanted to plant that. We'll say it again at the end, but I wanted to make sure people knew that this isn't their last chance, to be able to benefit from your expertise. So back to it. So so you talked about these examples of people having these childhood um, ideas
Yes.
set, and then a cycle being born from that, and it's so far back and so unconscious that the person cannot track the justification of the experience. So every time I try an X, I experience that, or
Yes.
I that kind of thing. So help people identify that right now. So would it be, have you had a chronic cycle of things not going your way? So every time you try and do this, something happens, or whenever you're about to this, something happens. Or people say to me, I get into a relationship and I wreck it, I sabotage it somehow,
Mhm.
or everyone I meet cheats on me, or everyone. So is it some kind of a repetitive thing that people want to look
Yes.
for to spot the problem?
Yeah. Every consistent problem in your life that's physical, so success, relationships, health, if it just keeps recurring, it's actually a solution for an emotional problem you're not looking at. And when you solve the emotional problem, the physical problem just goes away,
Wow.
right? And this is the thing, no one's looking at the emotional problem,
Yes.
right? And so yeah, so for instance, the woman with the chronic headaches, when
Yep.
we looked at the emotional problem, like I don't want to let my dad down. I don't want to feel like dad thinks less of me was the emotional problem.
Hmm.
We solve that, and the physical problem goes away. All right. There was for me there was one point where I'm trying to build my business, and it was stuck at the same level over and over. It's like $100,000. And I'm like, why can't this go past $100,000?
Yes.
And, and I started working with some coaches, and we created a program where I could make $1 million over the next year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is going to solve everything.
Yep.
And then my income started to go down. And I'm like, okay, shouldn't my income be going up? So now I'm trying to figure out what's going on in my business that my income is going down. And I haven't
Yes.
even launched the program yet. It just started going down as I'm preparing to launch the program.
Right. Right.
And when I looked into it with one of my coaches, because you can't do this on yourself a lot of the
Right. Right. Right.
times, right?
Yes.
You can identify it sometimes if you're really good at it, but most times you like talk to someone else and they're going, "It's this," and you're
Yeah.
like, "God, it's that." Yeah, you're right. Oh my God, why didn't I see it? Right? So,
Exactly. If it was someone I was
right.
working with, I would have spotted it, but it's me.
Yeah. So I worked with the coach, and we found out that I'm about to offer this $1 million program.
Yes.
What if I don't deliver?
Oh.
How would I feel? All right. So the program itself didn't cost $1 million, it cost $100,000. The
Okay.
promise was you'll make $1 million in 2 years. So
Right.
that was the thing. And what was coming up is, well, if they paid me $100,000 and I don't get the
Yeah. What
results,
if? Yeah.
I have to feel like crap,
Oh.
right? I would feel shame. I would feel not worthy of the program.
Yes.
And so we had to shift those emotions. And and this is where it becomes like where people start to think, okay, wait, so I'm just not supposed to care if people don't finish my program and just take their money? No, that's not
Right.
it at all. If you are giving value to your clients and
Yes.
you've given them all the tools to reach their goals, but
Yes.
they don't use those tools, that's not on you, that's on them. So
Right.
there's zero shame if those people do
Right.
not succeed,
Right.
right? Now, if you just don't give them the tools, you don't give them the information, that's all on you. You got to own
Right.
that,
Right. Of
right?
course. Yeah. If you don't deliver what was promised.
Yeah, but every coach I know has people that succeed through their courses, and some people don't get results.
Yes.
And I was fine at a certain level. I had that mindset, but at the higher level, I
Right.
lost the mindset. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It
I'm
triggered
like,
something. Yeah.
yeah, it's the exact same thing. It doesn't matter the amount. So, and what happened was my unconscious mind said, I have to distract him from launching that program.
Wow.
So let's get the income to go down because that's a problem I can look at and solve and work with that completely takes me away from launching that program.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And so when we said, okay, you know what? You're going to put everything you can into this program. You're going to get the best results you can. And if some people, if you've given them the information, they don't get the results, that's not on you. Zero guilt, zero shame. My income came right back up to where it was. And then 2 days later, I sold my first $100,000 program.
Nice.
Right. And then
Congrats.
a
Yeah.
week later, I sold the next one. And then they just started boom, boom,
Yes.
boom,
Yes.
boom. And
Yes.
these people have been getting the great results.
Yes.
But that was it. It was my mind protecting me from shame by crippling my income. Right?
Which couldn't create shame at all, could it?
No. Right?
It's amazing how the brain can work. Okay, so so we've given people lots of examples,
Mhm.
and so let me throw myself on the table here and say, um, how would we identify, a topic
Okay.
that we can just walk through so people can see, how a person can break through anything. I've got tons. I could give you 10 things off the top of my head that
Okay.
I could use your genius on. So how do you work with a client that says, I got tons of stuff. Where do you want to begin? Like, what would you do using me as a case study? And then everyone gets to watch. So if I'm going to embarrass myself, everyone gets to be entertained. But I'm committed to my best possible life as my best possible self, which is the topic of this show, Good
Okay.
Life GPS, the best path to your best life as your best self. And to do that, I have to submit myself to opportunities for growth. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. And I'll tell you this right now, you work with someone like Shiraz, the best advice I can give you is the more you, and Shiraz, you can tell me, this is true for me, but the more people pay, the more they pay attention and the more success they achieve. Like the
Yes.
the people who I did favors for, they got nothing. And I said, oh, I'll just do this for free, help people with this, that. And they always find a way to not succeed. And then they end up turning on me. It's like, wait, I gave you a gift. Why are you mad at me? And
Mhm.
then people who pay a little, that's great. But the the people who pay the most invest themselves emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, whatever, they
Yeah.
always have the greatest success. So I encourage you to get into Shiraz's world and allow him to help. And if you want to know what it's going to look like, it's going to look like this. So where do we begin, good sir?
Okay. So actually, I'll set up the audience just before
Please.
we start working on
Yeah, yeah,
the.
yeah.
So I'm going to have this conversation with James about what we want to shift. when I talk to someone, I can tell when your conscious beliefs match your unconscious beliefs.
Okay.
So whenever they don't match, I'm going to say that's not coming up true. So I'm not calling James a liar. I'm just saying, no, your unconscious thinks something else, right? So
Yeah.
once we see that there's this discrepancy, then we can dig down to find out what is the story running in the subconscious mind that's causing that.
Yes.
So let's say that
Sure. And
James.
let me
Yep.
just double down on what you just said. I want everyone to know we're all full of crap. We all we all tell ourselves stories that justify a million things. And if you think everything you say you really believe, and there's no disingenuous, there's no self manipulation in there, then please know that that is not accurate. We're all full of it, and the more we can face, the more we can catch ourselves being dishonest with ourselves, the better everything's going to be. Oh, I think I blanked out there. Are you still there? Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So I want
Yeah.
everyone to know this is not just James. Yes, I'm guilty. And I bet you if Shiraz was working on Shiraz, he'd find something too. So
Yeah.
this is not, there's those people who have this. It's we all have this. The question is how many of us are going to get past it? And so Shiraz is going to help me by and helping me catch myself in a disconnected, disingenuous internal thing, and then only then can we deal with it, because otherwise it's sneaking around in the unconscious, and without someone's help I might not see it. So I just wanted to double down and say yes, of course. So go for it. Where do we begin, good sir?
Okay. And just so people are clear, this technique I'm using is not a gift I have. It is a skill, right? And I teach people how to do this. I certify people in this. So when I work with clients, the ones that have taken some of these lessons, when I ask them something and they go, yeah, that's what I want, they can actually feel it in their bodies like, oh crap, that was a lie.
It's like you create an internal lie detector.
Yeah. And so, and I was actually working with a coach today and she asked me a question. I'm like, no, I'm good with that. I'm like, damn it, I'm not good with that. So,
Nice,
yeah.
nice. I'm
So
excited.
this is a muscle you can build. So now let's like say, for example, that I say, what would you like to do this year, James, or what's your big goal for the next year? And he
Sure.
says, I'd like to add an extra $1 million to my net income.
Yeah.
And I might say, yeah, it's not coming up true. Okay.
Ah.
So then we'll look and find out. And we may find out something, and at your level, this isn't it, but this is very common with a lot of people out there. Um, if I work, if I work easily and the money just comes in, it feels disrespectful to my dad who works so hard to put food on the table.
Mm.
So the story is, well, I can't do that. I don't want to disrespect my dad.
Um,
Okay. So I'll say, are you willing to step out of the story that if you make
mhm.
money in large amounts really easily, you're disrespecting your dad? And if James says yes, then the story shifts. Now, I want you to get this though. The yes has to contain, yes, this is not serving me. It can go. I don't need it. Like all of that has to go into the yes,
Mhm.
because I'm not using any kind of energy work to shift you. I'm using this work to guide you to the thing that you have to change for yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you change it for yourself, you are empowered and you can change other things. So when you realize at something else, like, oh, that's just a story, you can say to yourself, well, I'm stepping out of that story and put that same energy into it and it will shift. Now,
Yes.
by shifting, there's a couple components. There's a physical components. You're actually rewiring your own neural pathways by that solid yes.
Yes.
And in that, there's always an energetic release because everything is energy.
Yep.
And so when the energy releases, a lot of people feel the shift in their bodies. Most common things we have is yawning or a feeling of energy in your chest and release. But I've seen people get hot, get cold, burp,
Mm.
um, get a little lightheaded. If it's deep emotional stuff, you may start to cry. So that happens. Now, when people shift around me, even through the internet, I yawn and cough. So
Ah,
for the next little while, if I'm yawning and coughing, we know we're getting shifts out of James.
nice.
All right. Now, here's the bonus part is that I'm coming up with the question, and then James is the yes, saying the yes and giving the shift. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, I've got the same story as James, then when I say, are you willing to step out of that story? You can say yes. and it's going to shift
Hmm.
for you because you're doing the work. I'm just the guide, and then you do the work. And it doesn't have to be an exact match because for some people it's like, oh, I've got that same story, but it's about my mom putting food on the table, not my dad. So when I say, are you willing to step out of that story? In your mind, make it about your mom, and you can say yes, and it's going to shift for you as well. So whatever I'm talking to James about, I want you to ask yourself, how does this apply to me?
I love this.
Okay.
I love this. And now I've had a topic come up for me. Is it okay if I submit that for your
Yep.
consideration, or do you
Let's
want to
do it.
poke around? Okay.
Yep, let's start there.
So, I don't know if I shared with you my childhood, but I come from a challenging start point. My father struggled with substance abuse, and he struggled with a violent temper.
Hmm.
And I was not his favorite. I'll just leave it at that. I'm the youngest, and I struggled with some things that I now have labels for: ADHD, dyslexia, OCD, complex PTSD. I couldn't speak in sentences till I was 9. I couldn't read till I was 21. And so, by the grace of God, I've had this wonderful life and done all of these wonderful things. But there's one thing that I believe, and this is my topic that I'm submitting for your consideration, but you're the boss here, you're the guide here, and I trust you, is when I was young, I felt my current reality was unsurvivable. And so I needed to never be home. I had to always be out trying to figure out how to survive in the world. I didn't feel safe breathing. I had to go, 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 go. In sports, I would die to score a goal, hockey player in Canada. And if they chopped my head off, maybe they could stop me. But otherwise, you'd have to put me in the hospital. Like I was just like, I can outpain anybody. You know, I would win because everyone else quit. And I would be like, if I'm breathing, you're still at risk here because I'm never stopping.
Okay.
And I developed a workaholism that was based on a desperation that perhaps at a moment was true, maybe on more than one moment, but my tendency to overwork myself has never seemingly gone away. No matter how high I've built 3 different 7-figure businesses, and yet this desperation feeling, which doesn't make sense, continues to drive me. Like there's a bull on my butt, and
Hmm.
he's got a fire, you know, flamethrower, and and for me to just enjoy and relax and breathe is not something that I've done. I never took up golf or yachting. I never did the kinds of things that people do when they're quote unquote successful. I never I cannot recall taking a break and feeling like I can just relax and enjoy. I'm also I have this gotta go, gotta do it, gotta build, gotta create, gotta push harder than everybody MO. And at some point, I'll just give you one idea that people had submitted to me, and I don't think it's it. They're like, "Are you still trying to get your father's approval?" Because he liked my brother. He loved my brother. My brother was the man he wanted to be, and I was the man he feared being, right? I was just not the one that he wanted to be. So people say, "Are you still trying to impress your dad?" And my dad passed away many years ago, and we ended on peace. And I really don't think that's it. But I want to submit that as a possible topic because I have been clinically exhausted multiple times because I just have this never stop, never breathe, always push kind of a mindset. So is that a sufficient topic for you?
That's a good one.
Okay, cool.
All right. So,
Help me.
do you have to prove you're unstoppable?
Do I have to prove I am unstoppable? No, I don't think I do.
So that's not coming up true.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because when you were talking earlier and you were talking about best path, best way to get to that
Yeah.
success,
Yeah.
there was resistance coming up in that as well.
Really?
Right.
So so then I feel I have to prove on some level, there's something inside of me saying I have to prove I'm unstoppable.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay. So do you have to show others that you're unstoppable?
Again, I don't think so.
Okay, so that came up true.
Okay.
So the proving is actually about you and you, not you and others, which is two
Oh,
different
cool.
things, right?
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I hope people
So,
are enjoying this. I think this is great. Go ahead.
okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to prove to yourself over and over that you are unstoppable?
Sorry. The question is, am I willing to step out of that?
Yeah,
I can say I want to. That's for sure.
I know. And
I
I
I
want I
can.
want everyone just to take a pause there. Did you notice how his video froze? That
Did
is
it?
energetic resistance to the process.
Wow.
Right?
That's wonderful. Okay, so at the moment, I am able to say I want to,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure what I would be trying to protect by not moving away from it. I'm not sure what that is or if I need to know.
The fear is that if I don't constantly prove to myself I'm unstoppable, something's going to stop me.
If I don't prove to myself that I'm unstoppable, then something will stop me. You know what? I'll give you my honest feedback. At the moment, I feel like if there is a reason, it's I want to prove to my dad I'm more of a man than him,
Okay.
that I'm tougher than he is. Like
Yeah.
he was saying I wasn't tough. And it's like, you want to see tough? Try and break me.
Okay.
Try and stop me. I'm unstoppable. I think it came from a no, 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 no. I'm not the weak one. You are. Don't You've got it wrong. Like if that's what comes up for me, not that I'm afraid something will stop me, but it's this let me prove just how tough I am by causing my own suffering or something like
Pretty much.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. But I want to hit both because I just want to go where the energy went. But we'll start with yours. Are you willing to
Yes.
step out of the story that you have to prove to your dad that you're unstoppable and you can't be broken?
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you willing to step out of the story that you have to prove to yourself that you're unstoppable?
I want to say yes.
Hmm.
Can I share what came up
Sure.
as I was investigating that? So for me, this now goes in a different topic. It's something about my faith journey
Okay.
that I was destined for all kinds of trouble, and it was by the grace of God that my life turned around. And I'm a fully committed Christ follower, and so on. So my unstoppability now is in my faith in God, not in me personally. So I feel like I'm unstoppable, but it's not me that makes me unstoppable. It's a faith, external faith. You know what I mean? So I don't feel I have to be personally unstoppable because I'm not alone. Do you know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
feel like I don't have to be unstoppable because I'm covered. And that makes me
Ex-
unstoppable, if you know what I mean.
Except if you have to prove you're unstoppable, then part of you doesn't feel that way. Because
I
then
see.
there'd be no proving. It's just like, well, I know. I know that if I've got the backup, I've got the support, it's going to work out no matter what. Proving goes out the window,
Okay.
right?
Um, all right. No, I really appreciate is this normal for someone to like dialogue back and forth to
Oh
try and
God. Yeah, that's we call it resistance.
okay.
Because rather
So
than just going straight into the yes, it's like let me fight my way to something I
well,
can say
because
yes
I
to.
want I want
Yeah,
an honest slam dunk. I don't want to
yeah,
play like I'm
yeah.
being helped here. I don't want to pretend I'm listening to you. I don't want to pretend a breakthrough. This only matters if it's real,
Mhm.
and you deserve my respect to do the battle if there is a battle.
Yeah.
So here's what came up on that one. Um, and I'll seek to be efficient. There's an old Bible story of these guys, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and they were in trouble with a king. They were Jewish and the king wasn't, and they got in trouble for praying or something like that. And they refused to stop praying because God told them to pray. And
Yeah.
they were told if they keep doing this, they're going to be thrown in a fiery furnace and burned to death, right? And so they said, and this is a real, you know, a powerful idea for me. They said, go ahead and do what you want to do. Throw us in the furnace. because we know 100% beyond any shadow of a doubt that God will protect us. And then they added, and if he doesn't, that's perfect too. So my take on it is I might be unbreakable unless breaking is what's best.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So I can't be broken in a negative way, but but uh yeah, so I can't be broken in a negative way, but it doesn't mean I can't be broken because maybe that's part of some divine plan and I trust God. So that's what came up for me that that I believe me, humanly speaking, could be broken, but by my faith in God, I won't be broken unless being broken is best.
Okay.
Is that too much of an explanation?
I get that, and I want you to understand that by being in that story, you are attracting things to try to break you.
Okay. I
So,
really want to hear you. Yep.
yeah. And so if you're not in that story, things can just flow.
Yes.
Things and the the amount of hardship you need to go through can drastically go down.
I love it.
Okay.
Okay.
So and that's where we're in this proving because you're because it feels like if I invite that in, I can see it in action. I can feel that God's got my back, that I'm not going to break unless I know it's God's will that I break. But it means that you have to have these opportunities to see where the breaking is possible.
So this is moving away from that kind of experience, moving into a beautiful flowing experience where the topic of breakable or not breakable is irrelevant because I'm in a beautiful, free, comfortable, flowing life.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to keep proving that you cannot be broken?
Yes.
Ooh, there's a lot of energy on that one.
Whew.
Okay. Is it worth it if it's effortless?
Is it worth it if it's effortless? Yes, of course.
Okay, that felt pretty good. That's those two are usually attached. Okay, so let's do a quick check-in here. How are you feeling? Better, worse, the same, different,
I'm
different?
very excited.
Okay.
I, I can't wait to not get my ass kicked for a change. Nice.
Yeah, it is amazing because I mean I used to work hard all the time as well, but it wasn't the same reason. You For me it was an ego. I had to show everyone, if you said you're going to work an extra hour tonight, I worked two just to show you up.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the to show I can't be broken. It was
Right,
basically
right,
ego.
right.
I'm better,
Yeah.
and I was burning myself out. And when I let that go, and this is the other thing with reality addiction, is every time you overcome that part of I haven't been broken, you get your dopamine fix. So there's the
Mm.
addiction component there, which you may feel the withdrawal from after
Oh,
the
I see.
shift,
Sure, sure.
right?
I hear you. You know what?
So,
I'll tell you. Oh, sorry to cut you off, sir.
okay. So the other way you could go is what I did is let's go to easy. So every
Yeah.
time something worked out easily, I went, yes, and gave myself that dopamine hit. I did it. I
Yes.
did it. So the two things couldn't exist at the same time. And because I was actively giving myself dopamine hits for every time something got easier, more and more things got easier
I
until
love it.
life just became easy. Now, do I still have hard days? Yes. But there's no
Yes.
fix there, and that the anomaly, the normal, is easy.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is we haven't discussed your journey as far as spirituality and so on, and there's nothing on you to do that. But I'm just being open that that's center for me. And I remember praying about this, and I said, God, I think we're good with my before pictures. You know, the before pictures, like
Hmm.
I used to be overweight and depressed, but now I'm happy and successful and fit. It's like, God, I have enough before pictures. I have enough tragedy. I have enough difficulties. I have enough proof that I'm an overcomer or whatever the heck it is. It's like, can we just go to the easy setting now?
Yeah.
And so today I found out that I was the one not letting that flow, and I am joyful, riotously joyful to release that. And it's good for everybody because that thing was costing other people, not just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the nice thing is when it's easy, that now adds to other people because the people around you get the easy as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for me it's like when I'm abundant and flowing and so on, everyone around me is blessed. I'm like the cup runneth over. That's just the way I'm wired. And for me to have historically, consciously or unconsciously, invited challenge, which would which would tap into those resources, affect my capacity to give or serve or whatever, then or just have time for people. It's like I'm busy slaying another dragon that I've invented or
yes,
something.
exactly.
And so all of that energy and all of those resources can now come back and flow in a direction that's healthy and appropriate as a good steward, rather than reinvesting them and proving the same childhood point over and over again, that the
Yeah.
whole world around me gets to be blessed because I stopped that reliving that thing, and just
Mhm.
to be free with ease and joy and flow.
Yep. And a lot of people are stuck in that if you don't put the hard work in, you don't deserve the rewards,
Right.
right? Because so many people are brought up in you have to work hard to succeed.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that's not true, right? You don't have to work hard to succeed. You have to be willing to work hard to succeed,
Yes.
which is completely different,
Yeah.
right? So, and when you let go of I have to work hard to succeed, then life just becomes easier. And you stop being angry at these people where you see they hardly do anything and they make all this money. That's so not unfair. No, it's perfectly fair because they let go of that belief and you
Yes.
haven't. So
Yes.
everyone's getting what's exactly fair to them.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And I'm not positive how much of that kind of emotion. Uh, I really think mine was very personal. Very.
oh, yours was.
Yeah.
I'm just broadening it for the audience. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for me, it's like I celebrate everyone, their journey, their whatever. It's like that's your thing, and so I just merely created that thing for myself. But I can imagine there's tons of things where that would be the case, right? It's like jealousy, and when
yeah,
I looked at, and I think I brought this up in our very first conversation. And let me just pause and say thank you, a million thanks, before I say another word. I really appreciate your willingness to put your expertise in front of everyone. So it's real or it's not. You can do it or you can't. You know what I
mhm,
mean? A lot of people say, I do this, I do that, but it's only in the private. But you said it was your idea. Say, James, if you're open, I want to be able to do this in front of everybody. And I'd like to think I'm a willing participant, but I
yeah.
still gave a lot of resistance. And and I think that's life transforming for me. So I thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's
And I
my
encourage
pleasure.
everyone to give Shiraz that opportunity to unlock the currently locked within your journey, whatever that is. And so, what I was saying is, when I was looking at um, shadow work,
Mhm,
the idea that we have these parts of us, and perhaps that would apply to when you were saying, I'm putting myself out there at another level with this $100,000 investment for my clients, getting them to $1 million a year. I'm worried or whatever. I don't want to label your journey, but the I'm concerned about not having success there, and these people trusting me, and then your unconscious or the shadow or whatever said, fine, I'll keep you from launching it because I don't like the risk, right?
mhm,
And
yeah,
I just think there's so much of that where people have fears and negative emotions about other people and themselves, and just why can't I ever, the term like that might be a clue, right? Why can't I ever, why doesn't it ever, or why don't they, or why don't I? And those questions should not be treated as rhetorical. They're divine wisdom seeking to get you to ask and get an answer to the question, why have to, why always. How else can someone identify these possible things? And maybe, like yourself and myself, maybe we need someone else to help us, but can you help the viewers at this moment to just to know that there's probably some stuff there for them?
Similar to what you were talking about earlier, it's these phrases we use. Every time I blah, this
Yes.
happens, right?
Yes.
Story of my life, right? With my luck, right? It
Yes.
always happens, right? You're stating your addiction. You're creating that over and over again to sustain that addiction. And when you start realizing this, and even cliches, like if your cliche is, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. What's your life going to look like, right?
Yeah.
Right?
What are you telling yourself?
Yeah, if your cliche is the world is my oyster, well, then you're finding pearls,
Yes.
right? So notice what cliches you're using all the time. And
Love
these
it.
are all going to lead to what's going on internally. You think you say it because it happens, but it's actually it happens because you keep saying it.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes. You keep
right.
proving it.
Yeah. So start proving something different. Like for me, there were things that go wrong. And it was just like, why does this always happen to me? And then I
Ah.
finally made that decision. Hey, things are working out for me.
Yes.
And so then I would see things working out for me. And of course, other things wouldn't, but I would focus on the things that are working out for me.
Yes.
And so then as I did that, more things worked out for me. So then I became, more and more things are working out for me. And then that just kept rolling. And I kept staying in that energy and locking in on the evidence. And finally, it evolved from that to everything always works out.
Nice.
Right. And so that's where I live now. And the cool thing is, if something goes wrong, my brain has troubles processing it because it's just like, huh, I wonder why that happened because everything works
Yeah.
out for myself. I wonder, and the next thing is, I wonder how that's going to fix itself because
Yes.
everything always works out for me.
I love
And
it.
it always does. It always will, like if something goes horribly wrong, something will come out of it to fix it, to make it all good.
Yes.
And I'm giving myself dopamine hits every time this happens to anchor it in. That's my reality addiction.
I love it. Well, part of me, Shiraz, is I can't, I can, of course, but the phrase is I can't wait to watch my life just flow easily
Mhm.
without that cycle. I'm just so excited. Like I'm really like I'm bouncing off the chair here saying I'm so excited to watch the rest of my day, the rest of my week, the rest of my because I am absolutely believing that I my non-conscious and who knows the spirit world may have been participating with me to continue to recycle that obviously dysfunctional thing. And perhaps there's benefits, and I can be grateful that it made me a tough guy or something, or made me overcome some insecurity as a child when I was told I was effeminate, I wasn't masculine enough, I wasn't man enough. I was like, it's like I proved that enough. Oh my goodness, like stop. So it's like maybe it benefited me somewhere along the line, so I don't have to begrudge the fact that it was part of my journey. It's
Mhm.
just I'm so thrilled to retire it and say thank you for the service that you've rendered unto my life, and now we're parting ways. it's
Yeah.
it's not you, it's me. We're done.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how excited I am. So, can people? What steps can people take to identify and begin to self-manage? But of course, I want them to meet with you. I want them to show up. You've given us the gift of the event every second Monday. It's the Coaches Money Mindset Reset. Everyone here watching is invited at zero cost. It's a huge gift, and then you're into Shiraz's circle, and you can grow from there. So let's assume they're going to be doing that. But right now, what can people do to? I think we've given people some tools on identifying why does this always happen to me, or why can't I ever, or any kind of those shouldn't be rhetorical questions that people make rhetorical. I think we've helped people to hopefully start spotting that. What else can you give people on either identifying or first steps?
Uh, the other thing you can do is we are all creators of our own reality. So this is a hard thing for people to get, but once you really get it, it changes everything. Everything that's happening in your life you want to have happen, right? The good stuff and the bad stuff. The When you figure out why the bad stuff is there, you can remove it, right?
Hmm.
But you have to own it first because if you're not bringing it in, if it's not your fault, you can't change it, and you're stuck in victim mode. And one of the little games that my friends and I do is if something goes wrong, the question we ask, well, why did you want that to happen?
Wow.
Right?
Why did you
And
invite that? Why did
yeah,
you create that?
and sometimes it stings because you're like,
Yeah.
what? And you have to come up with something. Because when you come up with it and you say, oh, it was because of this, you're owning, you're creating everything. And when you
Yes.
own, you can create everything, you can change everything.
I love that.
Right?
It's outrageous personal responsibility. Is
Yes.
it is that fair? That it's like, I'm responsible. I
Yeah.
am responsible. And for those of you who, I just want to work on that word because I'm the one who brought it up. And then Shiraz, clean it up, help me, if I get it wrong. But the way I look at the word responsible is I'm responsible to the degree I'm able to respond.
Mhm.
So if there's a war in the Middle East, that wasn't my fault. I didn't create it. I didn't go over there and stir some crap up. I'm not owning their experience. That's not mine. That's not part of my world. Directly me. If, however, I'm gaining weight, I might be responsible. All right. So we could look at, did I diet? Did I exercise? Did I sleep? Did I manage myself? Whatever. And so there's the obvious physiological, real world, I'm responsible. That hopefully you can see, right? I didn't get a speeding ticket because the world is unfair. I got a speeding ticket because I was speeding. I can blame the world, or I can say, okay, I own that. I did that. I got it. So that's physical world responsibility. But then I think uh, I think it's fair to say Shiraz is pushing us past that to say the things, even the things that you cannot see the direct, I did this, I caused that, you're still part of it. And the way I would say that from a spiritual perspective for me is God and I in a spiritual realm have created or allowed everything that has ever occurred in my life, and nothing is everything that has happened in the past can and will be redeemed, right, and turned into good. I'll learn something, I'll benefit something. I don't want to begrudge the past. It all serves a purpose. But when I move into the and now, I say I am choosing to be a co-creator in a beautiful, blessed, abundant life that serves not only me and mine, but the world that I touch. And I'm choosing to take responsibility for more than I can see the connection to. Does that make sense for us? Like beyond the obvious. I
It
ate
does.
the donut, I gained a pound, but even um, the lucky things or unlucky things. I won something or I didn't win something, or I met a good person or I met a bad person. I want to say I created that in some realm, in some way. I'm participating, I'm responsible beyond that which I might be able to track, measure, and prove. I just want to take that
Mhm.
responsibility and choose to be a co-creator of the best possible life. Is that okay to put it that way?
Yes, and there's also a little bit more to it because when we talk about like there's a war in the Middle East,
Yeah.
well, you're not the one that started the war. You are responsible for bringing the information of that war into your life.
Yes.
At
Yes.
some
Amen.
level, it is serving you. So, like, and I've had people say, well, wait a sec, my dad died, and you're saying I'm responsible for my dad dying. I'm like, no, but you're responsible for all of the emotional turmoil at that time somehow served you. The timing lined up according to your reality. It was his decision in his life as to when he was going to pass, but you got to make sure everything lined up perfectly. And you don't do this at a conscious level, it's completely at a spiritual level, so that everything works out according to divine plan. So, and it's amazing, like when you let go of the really bad things, like I don't want to feel like I'm responsible for people getting hurt around me. You're not, but you're responsible for the experience you're having as a result
Yes.
of people
Yes.
having.
Yes.
And you can own things in a bigger way too. Like for instance, this was one of my favorite things was my friend and I, we go to my best friend and I, we go to the movies together. Movie theater is like 2 minute drive from our house. And once a month we'll go hang out, have a great time, come back. One month there was an 80s revival thing going on. It was 40 minutes
Okay.
away. It was movies from the 80s on the big screen, experiencing like,
Nice.
right? And I'm like, we gotta go. We gotta go see a
Oh,
double
yeah, yeah,
feature, a
yeah.
triple feature. So we're heading out, and he always drives, and I'm heading out to his car, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "You always drive." He goes, "I drive when it's 2 minutes away. This is 40 minutes. You're driving. It's your idea." I'm like, "Fine, okay."
You're buying.
So we get into my car. We start driving. 5 minutes into the ride, every light on my dashboard is lit. Everything that could possibly go wrong is going wrong. And he's looking over. He goes, "What is going on?" I said, "I don't know." He goes, "You better get us back home before we get trapped on the road." So I drove back, parked my car, got into his car. He drove. We had the experience.
Yeah.
Next day, I got my car towed in, $1,000 to repair what was going on with it. And I come home and I said, "It's going to cost me $1,000." And he looks at me and goes, "You really didn't want to drive to that movie last night?" I went, "Oh my God, you are right. I was willing to do $1,000 of damage to my car rather than make a 40-minute drive." Like completely owning what
Yes,
the reality
completely.
was.
Radical responsibility.
Yeah.
Radical responsibility. Shiraz, this is huge. So if a person from this conversation now says, I want to take a look at those, why do I always, why do I have to, why do I never, why do others never, why is this, right? Spot the cycles, spot the disempowering beliefs. Like you were saying, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Um, become as conscious as possible. Maybe recruit a friend, close person, to say, let's team up on this. Let's catch ourselves in negative talk or cyclical stories. And so, starting with awareness, and second, taking a position of radical responsibility and saying, I'm taking responsibility for the appropriate part of this story.
Mm.
And like you were saying, I'm not responsible for my father passing away. I'm responsible for my experience of my father passing away.
Yes.
And so I may not have caused a passing, but I did cause my reaction to the passing, my experience of the passing, what it meant to me or for me. And
Mm.
so I'm going to take full responsibility for my part of every story, every moment, every blessing, every curse, if you will, every lucky or unlucky thing. I'm going to 100% own radical responsibility for my experience with everything. Is that correct?
That's it.
Beautiful. And then what can someone do? I mean, hopefully they're. I really sincerely, everyone watching, remember we're giving you a free ticket to this event, the third annual Global Speakers event. I want you to
Mhm.
be there. I want you to catch Shiraz and all the other speakers. What's your speaking date on the? Because that's like a multi-day event.
I think it's the 18th. I believe
18th.
so.
Me too. Okay, beautiful. So we'll see everyone there on the 18th. I think it
Actually,
starts on
you're
the
speaking on wealth.
second. What's that, sir?
You're speaking on wealth, I
I
believe.
know a bit about wealth. What was that
I think
question?
actually, I think you're speaking right before me.
I'm speaking before you.
Yeah, you're right before me.
Well, I'm gonna leave them whipped up and ready for you.
All
It'll
right.
be fun. So the event is from the December the 2nd to I believe the 19th, and I encourage one and all to get that free ticket, take advantage of it, enjoy it, and most importantly, get yourself to the event every month, second Monday of every month with Shiraz, and he's gifting you this ticket to the coach's money mindset reset, and definitely do that. But here's what we've got so far: become aware that there's cycles that are not serving you best, and you're part of that story. And the way to identify that, one of the ways is those always and nevers. Why can't I? Why don't they? Why do I always, right? Why do I always meet jerks? Or why do I always meet people who are going to take advantage of me? Or why do people
Yeah.
always lie to me? Any of those always is and nevers is. Life isn't always is and nevers is. So
Yeah.
it's unnatural if you believe there's always is or nevers is in your life. So that's one of the clues that there's something made up there. And then the next step is radical responsibility. I am 100% responsible for my experience of everything, right? My experience of everything. Beautiful. So then next step, Shiraz, what can people do to say, I know they're going to meet with you and they're going to have a blessing like I did, but what can people do in the interim?
So when you start thinking this way, you're going to start to notice your stories. When you do, you want to get into that mode of I'm stepping out of that story, that full force. It's not serving me. It can go. And you'll often feel a shift when you do that.
Mm,
The thing to watch out for is the withdrawal because your
yes.
body's been getting these dopamine hits and suddenly it's not going to get
Yes.
them. So it's going to try and pull those beliefs back in. And so you'll start to see the old reality come back, and you say, "Oh, nope, I'm in withdrawal." Don't get mad at yourself. Don't go, "Oh my God, this I suck because this is showing up again." It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is withdrawal. Got it. I'm stepping out again. And you may have
Yes.
to step out several times until it's finally gone. All right. And one of the ways to speed up that process is if there's an opposite belief, then anchor in the new belief. So when I started anchoring everything's easy as opposed to everything's hard, the hard stuff disappeared way faster once I was anchoring in the easy stuff. So
Hmm.
if it's like people don't listen to me, it's like every time someone is paying attention, oh, this person's paying attention to me, anchor that in. This person's paying attention, anchor that in. And then eventually it's like, wow, everyone listens to what I say. This is great.
Hmm. And I just want to share with everyone just an example of things going well and things going easy. Shiraz and I are recording this using a new platform that I just chose. I was using Zoom, which I love. If you own Zoom stock, then good for you. And I love Zoom for all of its goodness. And Zoom served me very well. I was using Zoom and running these live on YouTube. And then I realized that in post production, I wanted to edit nice videos for my guests, and I found that that recording was very limited. Even though I had great editing software, it was not easy to edit. So I did my research, and I found this platform, and it's Riverside for those of you who are curious. And this morning, I'll tell you, Shiraz, uh, I went into Grok. Grok is the AI I prefer, and I said, Grok, should I even attempt to use this new thing? Is it going to be a problem? Am I going to make a mistake? Is it going to hurt anybody? And it's like, nah, it's easy. You're going to be fine. And so this is my second interview using this platform. And the first interview did not face what we faced, and that was Shiraz has a background, and I didn't know how to do that. And I just want you to know what a pleasure Shiraz is as a human being and as a professional, because I changed the deal on him. We were going to go with Zoom, and I just said, look, if it's okay with you, I think this other one's better if you're willing to try it. And Shiraz immediately said, what about my background? I'm like, oh, I have no idea. I hope it's going to be okay. And I want you to know that you probably invested over 20 minutes patiently working with me to make this possible. And that's an example of someone who is gracious, professional, calm, and some would say, but Shiraz says everything's easy for him. He made it easy, not because of circumstance, but because of attitude. We just patiently poked around and we tried this and sending this and trying that. And we just kept on going until Shiraz uncovered
Chrome.
uh, which was it, sir?
I was on Safari and had to switch to Chrome
Yeah, yeah. What are they called?
browser.
Browsers. Yeah, it was a browser thing, and you're not going to find something like that when you're frustrated. You're not going to uncover something like that when you're impatient. You're not going to get a breakthrough if you're adversarial. We simply calmly submitted, this is our journey. And I said, Shiraz, the moment you've had enough, we'll just go back to the promised platform. And Shiraz just said, that's okay. Let's keep poking around and finding a way. And I just want everyone to know that's what it's like when you get this junk out of your life about adversarial. They're against me. It's not fair. Shiraz could have said, hey, you did this and it blah, blah. There's a million ways that could have went. And gracious, patience, persistence, without negative energy, allowed us to have this interview. So you demonstrate, you practice what you preach, you embody what you preach. I believe I've had a life transforming breakthrough with you, and I believe people were able to see that. And so I cannot say enough about what an incredible blessing this is to me. And like, we don't have to rush here. I want you to be able to share what else. I believe this is an absolute solid gold for myself and everyone watching. What would you like to share with myself and this audience as we move towards wrapping this up? What do you have left that's on your heart, sir?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. This has been great. And yeah, you did very well as a subject. I've encountered a lot more resistance than what you gave. I was actually working with a couple, and 10 minutes into working with the wife, the husband, and I'm asking her to step out of the story. the husband said, "Would you just answer the question?" And she's like, "I am answering the question."
Oh,
He's like, "It's a yes, no question. Say yes." And she goes, "I have been saying
wow.
yes." He goes, "No. He's been asking you the same question for 10 minutes and you keep just talking." And so she
Wow.
finally said yes and she had the shift. And then I worked on him. And she
Yeah.
starts laughing after 10 minutes. She goes, "Would you just answer the question?" Right?
That's rough doing two at once. My
Yeah,
goodness.
but neither of them realized what they were doing because the subconscious trying to protect them came
Yes.
up, which is why all those conversations were going on. It was all protection. And I deal with this all the time, so I know. With you, it's interesting because it's partly protection and partly you trying to figure it out for your own sake to really grasp it.
Yeah.
And that I appreciated that because it wasn't just resistance. It was more of understanding.
Yes. And I want everyone to hear this, that our capacity to mislead ourselves is virtually limitless. And if you are not open, you're not going to see the things that you are a part of that are hindering your journey. And even with a professional, you could fight your way out of a breakthrough that you would really, really benefit from. An example, and hopefully you're entertained. I want to share a little story, if I may,
Hmm.
of just how a person can mislead themselves. Is that okay?
Hmm.
So my dearly departed wife, she's just magnificent and beautiful. I'd love to talk to you and tell you all about my love story and the journey, and sadly her passing 13 years ago. But while we were married, we had these friends who were dating, and they broke up, and we loved them both. And we were talking with her together, and she said, "Well, the reason is he refused to get married. You know, we've been dating for a while, and he's just a player. He just wants to keep on playing." And she said, "I gave him several warnings, and we finally, had the conversation, and he refused to look at this as marriage." And she said, "Fine, if that's the way you are, I'm done." And so they broke up. That's her story. So then, not long after, a couple days later, I'm speaking with him. And I don't want to tell him the conversation I've had. So I want to give him every opportunity to share. So I'm like, "Oh, I heard, I'm sad. What happened?" And he says, "I don't know." I said, "Oh, there's no idea of what went wrong?" "No, no, just broke up." I said, "Oh." I said, "Let me just ask you." I said, "Is it possible she wanted to get married?" He said, "Yeah, well, I told her, yeah, that's if, yeah." I said, "What do you mean, yeah?" He said, "Yeah, I asked her to marry me." I said, "Okay. So can you tell me the story? Break it down. What was happening? Like, were you on a knee? Did you have a ring? Like, help me understand this proposal." And he said, "Well, we were talking, and she was like, 'I want to get married. I want to get married.' And I said, 'Fine, whenever you're ready.'" I said, "Wait, are you saying that was a marriage proposal?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." But he would pass a lie detector. I asked her to marry me. I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
is that what you did?" Um, and it was just like, for me, a funny example of, we make stuff up to
Mhm.
protect ourselves from the breakthrough that we really, really want. And
Yeah.
there's something familiar. There's an addiction to that experience that we have not chosen to be free of. Is that right?
Yes.
I love it. Shiraz, you are an absolute pro and an absolute treasure, and you have the best shirts, and I'm very jealous. And I'm thrilled to have made friends with you. For my part, we are friends, and
Mhm.
you are a blessing, and I appreciate you. And I'm going to be telling the world about you. And one and all, please take advantage of Shiraz's gift and join every second Monday of every month. Second Monday of every month, you have an opportunity to join the Coaches Money Mindset Reset. And Shiraz has given this to you as a gift. This is a highly valuable event, and yet you're being given this gift. Click the link, take advantage of that, and enjoy. And also join us at the third annual Global Speakers event, and the links will be in the description. Shiraz, I'm going to leave the floor to you. Bring us home. final thoughts, final journey. What would you have to share with our listeners and viewers?
So, final thing to think about is don't be afraid to be the happiest person in the room. Right?
Oh,
The happiest person sets the level that everyone else can come up to. So, some people treat it like you're weird, like what drugs are you on? Why are you so happy? Just be happy. Let them all come up to your level. Have a lot more fun.
I love it. Shiraz, thank you, sir. You're a big blessing for our audience, our global audience here at Good Life GPS. And I look forward to much, much more with you. And I look forward to having you back. I hope you'll be willing to join us again and
Sounds
take
good.
this to the next level. And I look forward to joining you for the Coaches Money Mindset Reset with all of our guests. Thank you so much, sir. All the
Thank you.
very best to you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.